for being here today. I know that I recognize some faces, so I know that some of you may be participating in other Carpals, other networks that Carpals is monitoring and have their own communities with them. So we'll touch real briefly on how that works if you are doing so. But we'll spend most of our time talking about how referrals are processed in the community and the other features that will be available to you there. I will note that there are some things still to come. So we've gotten the portion completed that will handle those referrals coming from Carpals, but we are still working to, acknowledging that the referrals that are coming from CCR, case management, and that those things are still, we're still working through those details, but that functionality will be coming soon as well. So as it stands today, you'll be seeing referrals that are coming from Carpals. Al or Pat, do you want to say any more about that? No? Okay.
Let me unmute. I'm sorry, I had a screen minimized. We currently, just so everybody knows, we are continuing to the ERP hotline is continuing to make referrals using the Google form and Google Sheets. So we aren't making referrals from the hotline into the community yet, but we plan to do that probably in a week or so with the launch of the updated version of the hotline itself. Carpals is going to be then switching the staffing of that to attorneys and doing full intakes and consultations, and also making referrals. So until we make that switch, we'll continue to use the Google Sheets, and we will let you know in advance when we plan on switching things over to the partner community.
Great, thanks, Al. So when Carpals makes a referral, or a referral is made to your organization via the Carpals site, what will happen is that you will get an email, and that email will just say that a referral has been made. For confidentiality purposes, it will not contain any details about that referral, but there will be a link, and that link will take you directly to your login page. So your accounts will be set up for you. You will be receiving an email for you to set up a password if you haven't done so already. Once you do that, you can bookmark that link. It will be sent with that welcome email. You can bookmark that link, and that link will always take you right to this portal. For those of you who are participating in other communities, you will not have to manage multiple logins. You will be able to switch back and forth between like AFLAN, for instance, or New Leaf by using this app launcher right here. For others of you, this may appear, but you can just ignore this little die because for you, it will just pop up what you, the CCLAHD that you're already in. The first thing you'll see when you click on that referral or access the portal is this homepage. A couple of things to note about the homepage is we've got your recent referrals right front and center. So these are the referrals. This is where you'll find the referral about which you just received an email if you've clicked on the email. You'll notice that for your convenience, we've got the name of the client. We've got the legal issue that they're facing. So in this case, it's housing, landlord-tenant, termination, eviction pending. It's got the date that the referral was made, the county, and the status. So you'll notice for those that have been applied, that means they're new and no action's been taken yet. So these have like a red box to really make them prominent for you. We're going to click into one. We're going to click into Captain Kangaroo. And this is a case, again, that we've received, but we haven't taken any action on it yet. So we're able to see just the very basics of the case. You will have, I did not fill in the court district and court case number. In addition to these two fields, there'll also be, I think one other, there's one other room, like the room, I think it's the room in which the case is being tried. The first thing that you're able to do, you'll see that you can see just basic information about the client and the party. So we're able to see their name, their birth date, and the last four of their social. Based on this information, you can make a determination of whether this case is a conflict or not. Once you do so, you either mark as conflict, in which case you'll be asked, oh shoot, I should not have done that. That was a mistake. Hold on one second. Crystal, any chance you could go back and change that? Give me 1 second. I thought that was going to prompt me for a little button and it didn't. So
Yeah.
I am going to, while Crystal either makes me another referral or fixes that one, I'm going to go back and talk about the other features of the community so that we can continue. Also on the homepage, we have our intake status. So those of you who control this for your organization can click here to see and edit the information about your account. You'll see that you're able to see the basics about, you know, obviously your phone number, fax number, website info, address information. You can also see a description of you know, your organization and the people that you serve. And then you can also modify that intake status. So right here, if you're, you know, you're full and you can't take any other cases at this point, you can change this intake status to closed, in which case Carpels will not make any further referrals until you reopen this. Or you can change it to limited, which really indicates that perhaps, you know, you can only accept cases of a certain legal type or something like that. If you want to communicate with the Carpel staff about your record, so say there's a change you're not able to make, you'll see that the only things I can change here is the intake status. If there's a different change, we'll talk more about chatter in a minute, but you can mention here that we need to change our intake criteria. And you can even mention Al. So it's a very social media-like interface. And then this will alert Al that you would need to make that change, and you could either put more details or ask him to follow up. Okay, some other things we'll note on our homepage is that you've got your upcoming events, and we'll talk about events and the calendar for that shortly. But you can see that there's an upcoming eviction clinic today that you may want to take a look at. And you can also see referrals for your organization this month, or, you know, I'm sorry, lifetime. So you can see of those referrals, how many you've accepted, how many you've rejected, and how many have no status as of yet. Moving on from the home page, we'll see that we've got report capabilities here. So this is only going to show you the 20 most recent referrals. But if you go to this referral tab and navigate there, you'll be able to see all of your open referrals. And then you're also able to see all of your closed referrals. So you are able to access those if you're just wanting to go back and make some changes or anything. So you're also able to see reports. We'll talk about chatter more in a moment, but you're able to see reports both at the program level and the network level. So when we look at this program report, you're able to see all of the referrals that have been made to your organization, how many referrals were offered, how many were accepted, how many were rejected. We can see this by month, along with what your acceptance rate is, see what your acceptance rate is. You know, if they were rejected, for what reason were they rejected, by location. Here it's, you know, dividing this by county, and then how many were abandoned. That's an important thing to note. So if you do not take any action on a referral in 7 days, it will auto expire. So it will then be, the Carpel staff will be notified, and they can make another referral if appropriate. So all of this information on this side is really related to your organization. So in this case, I think that Wanda Maximoff, as whom I'm logged in, is from Land of Lincoln. So this is relevant to Land of Lincoln. On the side here, you've got a comparison. This is the network as a whole. So this is across CCLAHD, what's going on. So you can see that, you know, in this case, Land of Lincoln has 4 of the 5 referrals, and we can see the different distribution breakdown here. It's important to note that for these dashboards, you do have the ability to do some filtering. So if you just want to see things that happened, for instance, in a certain time period, you can do so. And then over here, we can filter by region. And we just talked to Al about this today. We may be modifying these region referrals a little bit so that we can group these, but here we're able to see by the various regions. And you can always go back and choose all.
Yeah, this is all going to be just Cook County, so we won't need to.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I was kidding. I chose a poor example for mine. Thank you, Al, for that. And then we've got another dashboard that this is showing the network as a whole. So this is a little more detailed information. And again, it's showing the full network, and you're able to see all of those statistics and all that information. We also have a directory. So here you're able to see all of the agencies that are in the CCLAHD network, as well as all of the people in that network. Clicking on these will give you more details. So you're able to see phone and email information then as well. This is a sandbox, so things will look a little bit different. Moving on, we also have a training tab. This training tab is from other communities because this is our first training for today. As soon as we're done, the video of this training will be uploaded to the training tab in the production environment, as well as documentation that we've created that has step-by-step instructions with screenshots to walk you through the entire process. Again, the embedded videos can be played just by clicking here, and then documents can be accessed either via a link or downloaded. And then if there are items, that from CCR or anyone else that need to be added that you think would be beneficial to be added here as training materials, please reach out to Al and Pat, and we'd be able to accommodate that. We also have a library. So again, we don't have anything in that library today, but this library would allow you to upload various documents. We can create subfolders within there. So as the network grows and the resources do, we'll be able to put those all in one central location for easy access by everyone in the network. We're going to get back to that calendar functionality that we talked about. So you can see on this calendar, so as there are housing or debt related training opportunities that come up, those might be either outreach events. Like I said, they could be training opportunities like this one. Those can all be added to the calendar by any participant in the network. Any community member can add here just by clicking. So if I click on a date, it's going to bring up this window, and I am able to create my event. I can put in a description for start time, end time, the location for that. This could be like a link to a Zoom link here. You can specify a type, whether this is outreach, network support, or development, and then where it's applicable. Oftentimes now, if this is done via, if it's done virtually, it would be all, but you can also specify the county in which that will occur. And you can click save. Once that event is on the calendar, you also have the ability to indicate whether you plan to attend. So this is kind of nice so that you can see how many people are actually participating in these events, or if you plan to go but you feel it's important really that only one CCLAHD representative is there, you can see that, oh, that kind of is already covered and I don't need to do that. But I could say here that I plan to attend. You'll notice this updates my status. I can either then cancel, and when I cancel, it changes my status to canceled. I can also say that I did attend. So maybe I canceled, but then my other appointment fell through, so I was able to attend. I can update my status to attended. I'm also able to view all of the attendees. So who are the folks that are either planning to come or have come, and that's available to everyone as well. All right, you're able to see this at a month view. That's the default. You can see that they're all showing up there. We also have the ability to toggle and see a week view. I think that was on the 17th. So I can see this in a week view or even a particular day. And I also can see these items in a list like I do on the homepage. All right, we're now going to go back, and I have Captain Kangaroo back. I'm now able to, oh, I think I still have a record type issue. Let me, okay. Be able to see this, okay, there we go. All right. Oh, you know what? I am not, it switched me over to the wrong person. Let me get into as Wanda again so that I have my correct permissions. All right, so, all right, I'm gonna look at a previous submitted one. I messed everything up by canceling this. All right, so as you saw, I was able to either say that that case was a conflict or that it was no conflict. Once I do that, and I will edit this in the video so that you're able to see it clearly. Once I say that there is no conflict, I'll have two buttons here, and those buttons will be accept or reject. So once you have said that there's no conflict, your screen will change, and this button here, this contact, will become clickable. So you will be able to then see more information about that party. So you'll be able to see more information about that client and be able to make a full determination of whether they meet your eligibility criteria. So you'll be able to see things like income information that will determine if they meet your eligibility criteria. You'll also be able to see, once you accept, you'll be able to see files that are associated with that. So for instance, if during that intake, Carpels collected any documents, such as the copy of a lease that would be helpful, that will be shared with you as well, given that the client has consented to that. So you'll be able to see that information as well as the referral note. Once you accept that case, you'll have that accept or reject. Once you accept that case, you'll then be able to see the full information. You'll be able to see additional information about that client and about that case, including the case description.
What's up? Call me back because we had talked about this insurance. Right now, we don't have any insurance. So call me back. No.
Could you mute, please?
Okay. All the paperwork except that I sent in, 3 questions didn't get answered. Is how long does the building
Mike, are you able to mute?
How long will it be vacant?
You're the owner.
Honestly, I didn't see those.
There we go. Yep, got it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so once you've accepted the case, obviously if you reject the case, it's going to ask you for a reason that you're rejecting that, purely for reporting purposes so that we can get a great handle on what's happening throughout the network. And then once you accept, you're going to be able to see, the full information about this referral that Carpels has collected. And, then you're going to reach out to the client, and, service that client and do your thing. You also can communicate with the staff at Carpels about this via chatter. So you are able to, that chatter that we talked about earlier, it's a tool that Salesforce offers. I know that you're using Slack right now for some things. So I think that, where things belong in terms of Slack or chatter is to be determined, but you are able to @mention someone as you would in Slack. And again, if you have a question about this particular referral, or if you've closed a referral in error and you hit the wrong button and you want to reopen it, you can make that request as well. So we could @mention Al and say, I misidentified this as a conflict. I'm going to pretend I'm back on my Captain Kangaroo, but think we could take it. Okay, once you have, you know, worked through a resolution with that client, or something else has happened that you're no longer involved in this case or this legal issue, it is important that you come back to the community to close that out. So we've got this close button up here. When you close, you're going to be asked to select a closing code. The choices are that you either provided legal service, incomplete service, so that you had begun but something happened and you weren't able to finish, denied service, or none is not an option you could choose. So you've got legal service. If you do that, you want to specify whether you've done a brief service, representation without litigation, an administrative hearing, or litigation. If instead it's denied service, there's lots of reasons why you may have denied service, and we'd ask that you choose one of those. Or incomplete service, you know, if the client abandoned or withdrew, or some other reason. And then once you close this, it will of course drop off of your homepage and off of your open referrals, and it will go to that closed list where you'll still be able to access it. Are there any questions about the process?
I have a question. I'm sorry if I missed this, but we're using this for both pre-scheduled appointments and for in-court referrals. Is that right? Like
yes.
Both. So is there going to be a way to differentiate between clients that are coming in? Are they going to be, because we have different staff, like our intake staff is handling pre-scheduled appointments, but our staff attorneys are handling in-court referrals as they come in. Is there going to be a way to be able to, a clear way that we're going to be able to flag that for our intake staff? I'm less worried about that for our attorneys.
Yeah, you know, to be completely honest with you, there's going to be some, you know, rearranging of all this once we really figure out how everybody's using it. Unfortunately, right now, it's not completely clear how everybody's using it, you know, what fields they may need. Some of the field values will be changed. So there's some kind of protocols to be worked out, but at the end of the day, you will be able to see different page views. So if you do have different staff that are handling, you know, different aspects, you know, either it's like maybe some staff are handling the hotline referrals that are happening pre-court, and maybe other staff are handling the ones that are coming up in court. Maybe they're only handling, you know, cases within a certain call, you know, the second municipal district. We intend to kind of build into the partner community ways of managing all of those things, so that regardless of who's using it, they can go in and, you know, identify whatever tasks, you know, that they're responsible for. I think the general idea is that the homepage is going to be kind of like the, you know, project overview that maybe something like a, you know, project supervisor might be looking at on a regular basis, whereas you know, people that are working out of specific courtrooms or doing specific subsets of the work, you know, would probably be able to navigate to a tab to view the referrals coming in for that subset, and to review little report indicators for that subset. But, you know, this is kind of still fluid, and we're just, you know, learning now, you know, how it's all working. And I think, you know, learning from the first week or two of actual cases coming in, will probably end up changing the system even a little bit more. So that's why, you know, it's not, you know, we want to demo the basic capabilities of it, but like let everybody know that there's more to come, and a lot of that it's going to kind of be added as we learn more about how people are using the system.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, to the extent that that you want any of the feedback, I would say that those two threads, I think we're not the only ones who are handling those two different things differently.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I would say is I like, the thing where you drop down and you say we're at capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That also is going to be different for those two different things, because
Yep.
there's going to be a capacity to take in-court referrals, and then which is different from pre-scheduled. So that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And, there's another subset there, which is, there's the, I think as far as slicing and dicing, there's the cases that are being referred at the case management call. But there's also then the return of the cases that, have already been referred in the system or are coming back for a status. That somebody's going to be tracking. And if you've gotten, a settlement agreement, you'll be able to upload that agreement to the file. And hopefully, if that's going to be a different group of people that are, monitoring what's coming up in court in order to work with the judges on, the disposition of those cases, they might be in a different part of the partner community looking at just what's coming up on their calendar on the return date. So yeah, there's several pieces involved here. The other big piece obviously is the case managers will be able to make referrals from the partner community as well as the hotline. So that's coming too.
Thanks, Al. Are there any other questions or comments right now?
I think I have two. Is this linked with Legal Server at all? Or are files being created or anything imported in Legal Server? Or is that done on our own? And then is this being used by CCR in the case management system to actually manage things from the court perspective also then, that they're all using this too, and this is kind of the official court record in the sense of who's been referred and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the CCR is going to be using this to make referrals to the network and to manage and all those referrals moving forward and report on all of those. So that's the answer to your second question. The answer to your first question, I'm going to let Erica handle that one as far as its integration with Legal Servers, because we are almost there. So Erica.
Yes, we're doing a pilot right now. We're in the final stages of testing. So the way that this is working from a pilot perspective is that when the referral is accepted, that will get pushed to Legal Server. There are some limitations because of the way that Legal Server's API works and what it's able to handle. Right now, this is a pilot for the AFLAN network. So there are some AFLAN specific fields, but it's certainly flexible enough and can be adapted fairly easily to take other custom fields that you have in Legal Server. It does require some work on your side, because anything that's a custom, either a custom pick list value or a custom field, we need to get and map all of those API names that are specific to your instance of Legal Server. But those all go through that main, the idea is it's going through that Legal Server hub, just like you're used to when you're getting referrals from other organizations and passing those back and forth. So again, we expect that soon, but it is the case that there's some coordination required with your agency to get those values, both for your test server, and then they could be different on your production server. So there's a little bit of back and forth and testing needed, but we are very close on that. It's not the case that Legal Server is able to send any information back to us, which is why we aren't doing that until you click accept. Because if we did it earlier, Carpels would have no way of knowing whether something needed to be re-referred or whether it was rejected for some reason.
Is that ever a possibility that some adjustment we make in Legal Server can be communicated back to you? Like, so we don't have to do it in two places if we accept or decline or whatever? Or do we always have to kind of do it in Legal Server and then go back and update the portal?
As it stands right now, that's a technical limitation of Legal Server. So what's on their roadmap would be a question for them. We have the ability to accept that information if they're able to send it. Again, it would require some, coordination between the two of us to get there, but it is a technical limitation currently on their side because it's all being done through that kind of hub and spoke model.
So we've been working on this integration now with them through the Illinois Justice Foundation for about 2 or 3 years. So we were actually made a lot of progress because we have this beta version in place. So the hope is that that this will be widely available soon. In which case it will just make it a little easier for programs that use Legal Server to automatically upload these case referrals when you accept a case and not have to go back in and type in a lot of the information manually. So, fingers crossed, we'll get there.
Thanks for those questions. Are there any others right now before I continue? Okay, well, Crystal set us up with a new referral. So you'll see that I already marked it as no conflict. Now you can see that it expanded my view, and then I'm able to accept or reject. So I'm going to accept this particular case. And once I do so, it'll open my, it'll open further. Now I'm able to see those files. There aren't any in this particular case. And there has been one issue. I would say that if that happens to you where my referral party went away and I couldn't see my files, if anything does look amiss when you're in the system, please refresh your page. It's a lot quicker than rebooting, but it is sometimes necessary. So just use your browser's refresh to refresh your page, and you should be able to see everything that you need to. All right, I want to talk a little bit about, and then of course I could close this case if we wanted to take it through the full life cycle, but I'm going to leave it open assuming that we're still working with Dwight on his issue. I want to look a little more at Chatter. We talked about Chatter in the context of a record, and this is where, given your current use of Slack, I think that this record communication is going to be where Chatter will be most helpful to you. So as I said, any post, as we showed earlier, any post that I make on this record will stay. I don't know that I pointed that out, but any post I make is associated with this record. So this feed is associated directly with this record. So anyone who's coming in and has the ability to view, so if you, if your team is working in tandem on Dwight's case, everybody's going to be able to come in and see those comments on the referral and respond to them as needed. So it does have that direct link to this particular referral that I think would make it valuable. You are also able to, because every record has a feed, of course, every user also has a feed. This is more like what you'd see in, Slack, in a channel. You've got your own, it's kind of more actually like Facebook-ish, where you're going to see everything that's been directed to you or a group to which you belong. It's going to show up in your feed, but you also have the ability to create groups. So when you're at mentioning, you can either, like you would a channel in Slack, you can at mention a group or an individual directly in here, so you don't have to first navigate to that channel. And then if you go to, you can also upload files associated with that. One nice thing is that rather than having to scan, so if we go to a group, for instance, we're able to make posts to this group. You can upload files and they're going to stay really accessible in this. I'm going to just upload a logo here. Those files that are associated with that particular group are going to stay right here in this sidebar, so they're really easy to see. I'm able to easily see all the members of this group, any details about it, and then again, I'm able to post from here as well. You can control what communications you get from Salesforce, from Chatter, and about those groups. So from a group level, you can say whether you want to receive an email for every post that's made, a daily summary, a weekly summary, or limited, which means that you only get them if someone specifically mentions you. You can also filter these. So if you want to see, you can ask questions here. Questions can then be answered. And people can upvote or downvote those answers. So that could be valuable as well. You do and will have the ability to create more groups. So if I navigate to the groups tab, I can see all of my groups, but I can also create a new one. So if there's something specific that you want to create a group for, you're able to do that. And you can either make it like invitation only or private. Or public, pardon me. And any of these lists can be sorted by simply clicking on the header, and that's going to sort that list for you. So in summary, all of your functions are here and available across the top. Your home tab, your list of all of your referrals, chatter, which is going to take you to your chatter feed, your reporting by both program and network, your directory of agencies and individuals who are participating in the network, training, your library, the calendar for group activities, and then that group that's going to enable you to create and manage groups that you're a part of. If you need to change your personal information, you can do so over here by looking at your, that's something we need to fix. I think that's a sandbox issue. So you can look at your settings and your account details. You're able to there change your email address or any information that you would need to. So that concludes everything that my agenda for today. Are there any further questions that I could answer for you while we're here? No?
Well,
all right.
okay.
Well, as I said, this will be made available in that training tab that we showed. That will be here after the training, as well as that user manual that I mentioned. So, Al, when should they expect their login information?
Well, we still have to get everybody's names and contact information for whoever's using the portal. I think that we probably need to have a discussion with the group about whether what roles various staff are going to be playing with the project, and maybe what different data needs they would have, so that we can kind of customize the partner community to the how people are using it. So I think that's going to be something that happens next. And then, like I said, once we get that figured out and we get the names in, then we'll set everybody up, in the partner community, and start making referrals from the hotline. And then we'll be adding referrals coming in from the case managers as well shortly after that. So you want to show them, did you show them the app switch, and for people that actually have multiple
I did that at the very beginning. Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw Marty on here and some others, so I showed that right at the beginning.
and so we fully expect, like for the reports, there's probably going to be some more specific reports for this project as far as what we want to track, what you want to track as an organization and what we want to track as a network that we'll be putting on there. Like I said before, what we hope to be able to do is actually check the performance of each of the calls, in the project, so we can see, how those courts are participating in the project, and the number of referrals and what's happening with those referrals and that type of thing. We're also hoping to add the larger data from the calls, so including the total cases that are up in court, you know, so that we can kind of combine those in our reporting, and we could know, you know, what percentage of cases that are appearing on the case management call are actually being forwarded to ERP, and then, you know, kind of monitor that from courtroom to courtroom. But so, you know, these again are things that, you know, we're hoping to add as we get a better understanding of how, you know, the system is kind of playing out. We're learning a lot of that right now. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, if there are no further questions, we can get